Hello and welcome back, and that is right, today I want to talk about the subject of cheap NAS boxes. I made a video a few days ago, at least at the time of recording, about a new Ugreen NAS that I saw. It was a 2-bay and a 4-bay, the DH4300 and the DH2300, a couple of value series NAS devices. And although the response to it and the product and what it was about was broadly positive, I actually saw quite a lot of comments of people saying, what's the point of this low-powered piece of S? What is the point of this when you can just spend another 100-odd nicker and get something Intel powered? Oh my God, this doesn't even have hardware transcoding. Ultimately, a lot of users, and I feel like it's mean to say this, were sort of missing the point about cheap NAS devices to a degree that I thought I would make this video. Ultimately, what is the point of these devices? Because it's easy to just go, oh, they're cheaper and it, game over. It's really not the case. It's actually a little bit more nuanced than that. So I'm going to go through 4 main reasons why cheap NAS boxes exist. It doesn't mean that it isn't better in some cases to just spend a little bit more and get something a little bit more capable, but why do they exist? So let's crack on.
Oh, you cheap bastard! This is an investment, man.
We often forget, those of us that have been using our own private data storage system for a while, that for some users in 2025, this is going to be their first tippy toe away from iCloud, from Google Drive, from Dropbox, from whatever. And for them, it's actually quite an expensive investment out of the gate. So it isn't just about the price, but it's just value NAS devices like these present the most affordable gateway out of the cloud. One of the best examples on the table is this one, the B Station. It is, frankly, low powered as S, but at around $250, this is 4 terabytes of storage and a quad-core ARM and 2 gig of DDR4 memory. It runs basic services, it knows what it can and can't do, but ultimately, this works out cheaper at 4 terabytes than a lot of cloud providers can give you in 1 to 2 years, the more expensive ones like iCloud especially. So the result is that it makes a far more convincing gateway out of cloud services onto something like this when you compare it against subscription.
Ah, so you come crawling back, you cheap sack of shit.
This is something I talk about on numerous occasions whenever I talk about value series NAS devices and the target audience. All of these devices on the table work as fantastic 2nd and 3rd tier backup solutions. Now, this means you might have an all-powerful guns blazing Intel AMD embedded Ryzen Nightmare GPU equipped NAS solution for your Proxmox, for your containers, for your multimedia and more. But you need an off-site backup or a network backup. Ultimately, you need to make sure your 2nd and 3rd tier is in place. That system doesn't need to be guns blazing. That thing doesn't need some high-end Intel Core or Xeon there. Jog on. It just needs to store and just do its job effectively, efficiently. And for those situations, having the same scale of capacity as a remote network or remote internet backup is desirable. And this allows you to add a tier more affordably.
I'm Heidecker, and welcome to Discount Prices. I've got $1.99. I've got $7.99. I've got $16.99. Cheap prices. $14. $11. $2.49.
Better budget leveraging. Let's face it, it isn't just about these systems. When you get a network attached storage device, you're not just buying the hardware, you are buying the storage drives, the hard drives or the SSDs. And let's say you're looking at a NAS solution where one of these, if you just spent that little $100, $200 more, you could get a more powerful system. There are some users that are looking at that $100 or $200 and thinking, I can add more terabytes. I can add better, faster drives. And in some cases, if you're rocking out with a $1,000 budget with tax as well, by the way, remember that going for one of these means that rather than erring towards a more powerful CPU, and I'm aware time equals money, and if it does things quicker, fine. But there are some users that will look at that and go, well, if I buy one of these value series devices and my priority is storage, this is the difference between a 4 TB slow hard drive or a 4 TB fast SATA SSD. It is the difference for some users between buying a 12 TB hard drive or a 24 TB hard drive, leveraging storage. And remember, as drives get bigger and better, hitting 30 terabytes, that means that value series devices like this allow users that are only concerned with storage capacity rather than capability for archival storage to be better leveraged for their bunts.
You're cheap. You are so cheap. You never ever put money in any tip jar, ever.
And this is something that has become more interesting in the last few years as the cost of electricity globally has gone up, even with renewables as well, you know, solar and stuff. These value systems, because they have to be efficient, they generally arrive with the most insanely efficient CPUs, which in terms of power consumption, very small. Indeed, even the memory is pre-soldered to the board. Very rarely are the ports and connections that aggressive, and even that reduces the overall power consumption. When you have got a 1 gig or 2.5 gig NIC, or a 10 gig NIC on the rear, even if both of them are managing a gigabit or 2.5 gigabit workflow, the 10 gig gets warmer, it can affect the cooling of the system, ultimately by tiny measures can increase power consumption. And that's above and beyond a CPU designed around efficiency there. So again, value series devices could be tremendously appealing to users in terms of sheer low power consumption. But that's really it. Again, the motivation for this video simply came down to the comments and the fact that I've not really addressed this before. Maybe there's a point that I've missed, or you would like to counter some of those points below. I really look forward to talking to you in the comments. I'll link towards a few recommended value series NAS devices in the description below, along with a few different articles about power consumption that we did when we were measuring the actual true cost of these devices last year. I will update that soon. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, and if you're going to go to the stores below anyway, if those two things are true, please use those links in order to get hold of whatever it is you're going to buy. We get a small commission from anything you buy via those links, and it allows me and Eddie, just us at NAS Compares, to keep doing what we do. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.